Yes, guys, and welcome to the Sunderland vs Arsenal match preview. It's a top of the table clash on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. kickoff. And how lovely is that to say? You know, heading into match day 11, top of the table clash between Sunderland and Arsenal. Of course, Arsenal top of the pile at the minute, and Sunderland in fourth. And you need to just revel and bask in these times, because as beautiful as it is now, it's likely not going to stay that way for the remainder of the season. So you need to make the most of it now whilst you can. So I was going to make this preview over the last couple of days. However, there was some reports, some articles that were coming out from Paraguay suggesting that there was going to be a specific, particular absence of one of our players. So I thought I'll hold off, wait for the pre-match presser to see if Rodgers will confirm these reports, and he did, which was a big shame, but I am going to get into that in just a moment. But first and foremost, if you can get 200 likes on the video, we're going to get a clean sheet tomorrow. If we get 300, we're going to win 1-0. 500, it's going to be 6-0 Sunderland. Don't shoot the messenger. These are just the reports. These are rumours. Just what I've heard. And if you could also do me a huge favour and subscribe to the channel, it'd be so appreciated. We're trying to hit 20,000 come the end of the season. I've actually spoke with a couple of you guys recently, and apparently my videos come up in your recommended all the time. You watch them, so you believe that you subscribed, but then they checked and they weren't actually subscribed. So if you could double check for us, it'd be massively appreciated. Or if you're just not yet subscribed, if you can consider doing it, totally free, takes 2 seconds. You hit the subscribe button under the video, boom, smile on my face. See what you've done? Thank you for doing that. So yes, I have just watched the pre-match presser, and there were reports from Paraguay suggesting that Alderete is still within the sort of the concussion protocols and will not be available for this weekend. And of course, it came from Paraguay because we are about to head into the international break, so they were concerned that he's not going to make it for that, and he isn't going to make it this weekend. Rodgers did confirm he still has lingering symptoms, so he has to remain within this protocol. We have to be safe. Best be safe than sorry. Apparently, it isn't anything serious. It's very minor, but you still need to adhere to these rules and these processes. So it's a massive, massive shame, because he would have been so valuable in this kind of game, particularly with how physical it's going to be, which of course I'm going to get into that as well. Rodgers' answer regarding Omar Alderete and going to the national side as well, it really interested me. I think it was a really nice answer, because as a fan, being a selfish fan, of course, we just care about Sunderland. So in my opinion, in my eyes, I'm thinking, I don't want Omar going anywhere near that Paraguay side. I want him to just, put his feet up, then get himself better, so then he can be back for Sunderland after the international break. But Rodgers did say, fair play to him, he said he would rather him go to Paraguay, not only to, get him playing football against them when he gets back from the international break, he can, be hitting the ground running for Sunderland, but also for his morale, getting back playing football. So that was a really nice, respectable answer from Rodgers. But for me, I'm a selfish bastard, and I only care about Sunderland. They only care about me. But yes, that was the sort of injury news. Apparently, we do have a clean bill of health other than that, really. But we will go into Arsenal. So Arsenal, a hugely difficult proposition at the moment. Top of the league for a reason. Unbeaten in 7 Premier League games, 13 in all competitions. I think they've only conceded 2 or 3 goals. And their last defeat in the Premier League came at the back end of August. So it's going to be pretty tough, to say the least. It's going to be pretty tough. They do have some injuries of their own. Gyökeres is now added to their injury list. I think they also have, Havertz, Madueke, Odegaard. I think there might be a couple of others as well injured for Arsenal, but they still have a hell of a lot of strength in depth. They have so much quality within their side. And the way Arsenal play, I really enjoy it. With Arsenal, growing up in particular, Arsenal, that Arsenal side with the likes of Pires, Ljungberg, Bergkamp, Henry, Vieira, and just all of them, that's the Arsenal I grew up on, and that sort of DNA, I think, still semi-resonates within this Arsenal side in terms of possession football, because that side that I just discussed then, they were the best at it in the Premier League I've seen in terms of keeping hold of the ball, not allowing the opposition anywhere near it, and then just waiting patiently for the opportunity to present itself, and then they would just kill you. They were so good at doing that, and I loved watching them. But now, of course, things have changed in terms of the way teams play. And a lot has been made about not just Arsenal, but other teams as well, making the most of set pieces, long throws and what have you. And a lot of pundits have put this down as a negative, as if it's ruining football now. I'm probably going to go off on a bit of a tangent here, but I'm sort of semi-sticking up for Arsenal and that style of play anyway. I'm making the most of those, types of situations, because over the last decade, maybe more, every team have tried to emulate and copy, like for like, to the T, to the letter of Pep Guardiola's football, be it playing out from the back, sideways passing. And if you're good at it, it's fantastic. If you're not, it's shite. It's awful. Remember, you're watching Southampton when they come up, they were just hell-bent, as teams in that league too, and upwards, with no disrespect. Every team, they're trying to play out from the back, even if they don't have defenders who have ball-playing ability to do that. Every single Southampton goal, every time every now and then watched highlights last season in the Premier League, almost every single Southampton goal was them rolling out to the defender. He can't do anything with the ball. He loses it. One pass, tap into an empty net pretty much. It was that again and again and again. Arsenal, they're very good at keeping hold of the ball, but they're doing their own thing. They're very good at keeping hold of the ball, but making the most of set pieces and throw-ins. These aren't new things. These have been here since the existence of football itself. They're just making the most of it. They've just tapped into it and found a way to score. Who cares if it's ugly at times? We use the long throw-in, We do the sort of passing out from the back, but I'd like to think we've put our own little sort of marking our own little tweaks to it to make it our own. Do you know what I mean? In the way in which we play. Arsenal have their own way of playing as well, as I say, but going back to the set pieces, which they are so insanely dangerous at, and long throw-ins and what have you, it might be ugly, but if you're winning a game 2-3, 4-5-0, is any Arsenal fan going to sit there and go, "Oh no, but they weren't pretty. There weren't enough passes before it." Who gives a shit? If we win 2-0, it comes off the back of 2 long throw-ins. Am I going to be pissed off? Absolutely not. Is it not ruining the game? It's making it more interesting. It gives us more variation. It gives us a different variety of goals. I don't see the issue with it whatsoever. So I don't know what the pundits are on about. If they just want to see teams play sideways, backwards, and the occasional shot from distance, or just trying to tic-tacker it into the back of the net and walk it into the back of the net, and fair enough, those goals are good to see every now and then. But if every team are trying to do that exact same thing, it's boring as all hell, in my opinion. But like I said, moving on from that, Arsenal are very good at that. They're very dangerous. They're very good on the ball, but they're very physical in the way that they play. And that's why I would have liked to see an Omar Alderete back for this game, because he's the epitome of physicality. That's not to say we don't have any more players, because we absolutely do, who can combat that. But they do have Saliba, Gabriel at the back, Declan Rice, and a lot of their attacking opportunities and chances are from wide areas as well. It's not just set pieces, but their deliveries into the box are so dangerous, be it Saka or you got Trossard, who both, of course, not going to be all the time, but 9 times out of 10, their crosses are dangerous, and we need to be really on point to deal with it. Now, with Sunderland, the way that we should approach it, in my opinion, we have to have the balance. If we're going there with the sole purpose of getting the point and getting a draw and just not getting beat, then yeah, everyone behind the ball will sit there, we'll make it frustrating, we'll really frustrate them and limit them, and I think we do have the quality to do that, but I would like us to find the balance of trying to limit them, but also giving us some kind of outlet to be able to play to our own strengths, as opposed to just trying to nullify theirs and nothing else. Do you know what I mean? Particularly at home. If we're away from home, get everyone behind the ball, don't care. But I think at home, not to say go sort of gung-ho and just go for it. Absolutely not, because we'll be absolutely battered. And do you know what I mean? Seeing us 10 games in, we haven't been battered yet. Not at any point have I thought this team are going to roll us over. Maybe, other than the game against Manchester United, the opening 20 minutes, that was the only time where I thought, right, we're absolutely horrific here. We're going to absolutely run all over the shot. Maybe against Everton to a degree as well, but it hasn't been a 90-minute game so far where I've thought we should have come away being battered after that game. Not one game. And this has probably got the makings of being that chance. And I've seen some people say that it's a free hit. And to a degree, I do understand that, because it is Arsenal, the way that they're playing. But I would like us to have that balance of trying to nullify their strengths, but equally trying to expose a weakness, or at least try and play to our own strengths, if that makes sense. So in terms of how I want us to set up, the 5 at the back, or the wing-back system, is which I'm going to call it. It isn't just a flat-back 5, as we saw against Everton. It would suit this game a little bit more. Because like I said in the review of the Everton game, in a game in which we don't have too much possession, it works better, because we'll have a flat-back 5 in defence with Ronaldo, Heertrauder, you got Ballard, Mukiele and Hume across the back. And then occasionally, in possession, Hume will put himself into the middle. He'll tuck in, inverted, and then we'll go to that back four when Mukiele will push over, everyone will push over, and Mukiele will go into right back and Hume will tuck into the middle. Against a team like we did against Chelsea, against a team like Arsenal, they're going to have a lot of possession. We're going to concede a lot of possession. But when we do have the opportunity to get on the ball ourselves, Hume to add himself another body in the middle, to get that extra knock-on, to be available, to get that little 1-2 and move us up the pitch, that's fantastic. But it's a team like Everton, we know, disrespect, particularly in that second half where we dominated and we had almost all the ball, all the possession, Hume found himself not playing at right back whatsoever. And which means that we've got a right back playing at centre mid the entirety of the game. So it didn't really work in that sense, but I think it will work a lot better against Arsenal. I think it will work a lot better. So I probably would go for that back five or wing back system, as I said, with Roos in goal. And then in the middle, I would have Xhaka and Siddiqui, Lafay on one side, Traore on the other. And then this is where I do believe we need to introduce Brobbey. And hear me out. The reason I say that, because against Saliba, against Gabriel, other pacey fullbacks they've got as well, I just think that Isidore up top is going to be isolated anyway. And I think only on the off chance we'd be able to get in behind. You might get the odd chance with Isidore, which would be fantastic, but it's not going to happen often enough. And I think that we're only going to see him 2 or 3 times in each half, if that's the case. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I feel like Brobbey, being the physical man-mountain that he is, will give us more of an asset in this game in terms of Arsenal are going to have a lot of possession. And to relieve that back line, of course, it's not always going to work every single time, but to give us the best opportunity for a sort of direct hoof-it away ball from the back, for us to have someone who it might stick to up top, being Brobbey, and it's going to stick more likely with Brobbey than it would with Isidore, with no disrespect to him as well, because obviously I know what Isidore's strengths and assets are, but Brobbey, of course, it's not going to work every time because Saliba and Gabriel are just phenomenal defenders anyway. But to give us the opportunity to relieve some pressure, at least just for a while from our back line, for Brobbey to be up there to just try and bully those, because that's what we need to do. We need to go toe to toe with these physically. And I think Brobbey can do that and then help us come up the pitch and bring us up and get the likes of Lafay and Traore around him. Traore, I have given him stick as have other fans. I think he was probably our only shining light through the difficult phase of that Everton game. Certainly the first half, he looked really, really sharp and he looked really dangerous. Of course, I think he still needs a bit more game time coming into it, but he's looking sharper and sharper. And I do think, ideally, for a game like this, to catch Arsenal on the break, because they will have possession, like I keep repeating myself, Talby, and I keep screaming that from the rooftops, and Talby on the left-hand side, not the right. However, at the minute, with this system that I think we're likely going to play, Lafay's undroppable because he's been that good. His work rate, defensive work rate as well, and physicality of this game would be ideal. I mean, it might be a bit of a shot in the foot, but I think the only way you could really work that is if we do have that 4 at the back and 3 in the middle with Lafay, Xhaka and Siddiqui, and then have Talby on one side and Traore on the other, should I say, and then maybe Brobbey or Isidore, whichever way he wants to go, but maybe do the 4 at the back, which you might think, right, we've got against Arsenal, you can't do that, but they have Gyökeres out, and I think that's not a disservice to Marino, because I think people are saying that maybe we should go for a 4 at the back because it's only Marino up top. It isn't only Marino. He's doing an outstanding job whenever they've called upon him up top. He's not a natural striker, but he still gets goals, still a nuisance. But I think there's just a lot of ways, and I know I'm rambling on here, I'm probably contradicting myself and going in circles, but I still wouldn't be opposed to the 4 at the back at home. Give us a bit of an opportunity, but I don't know whether that would be naive in letting Arsenal really get at us. But I'm just thinking to myself, get a point maybe, and then get into the international break. Not that it's going to be easy to get a point, of course, but then after the international break, or going into the international break, we're going to be on a high. Of course, a point against Arsenal will be outstanding, at home or not. And then we still have the unbeaten record at home, so it remains a fortress, and morale will remain high. So it just depends which way we're going to go. I know I'm all over the place here. There's a lot of different variations we can go with. I wouldn't be absolutely opposed to the 4 at the back, just to give us a chance of getting some at the other end. But the 5 at the back is likely what it's going to go with, and it probably would suit it a little bit better. But it'll be very interesting to see or hear and read what you guys would go with in terms of a starting lineup for this game. Like I said, that was just an absolute ramble from me. I'm just trying to approach every angle that we possibly can in this game, because I think the balance has to be absolutely perfect to get anything from this game. And what that looks like remains to be seen as well. But in terms of a score prediction, I'm probably going to let my heart, as usual, run run rampant here. I say like it's a crazy prediction, but I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw. Boring us all out. I'd love us to, if we managed to get a win, it would be absolutely outstanding. But I just can't bring myself to say that I see that happen because I just don't. But I can see it being one of those games where Arsenal have 80-90% of possession. We have everyone behind the ball. But Granit Xhaka, of course, against his old club as well, he will not let any players' heads drop, won't let any players' heads go. He'll have everyone constantly going and constantly fighting for every second ball, every first ball. And I think we might see a real Warriors performance, not just from Xhaka, but from everyone. He won't let standards slip. And I could just see us making it really difficult for them and getting away with a point. And I would be buzzing with a 0-0 draw. As boring as it sounds, but I'd be buzzing with it. But yeah, so it's been a bit of a lengthy one, this one. I won't lie, I actually tried to make this video earlier. I did nearly 25 minutes of me rambling away. Then I went to edit it, and then the entire audio track had corrupted. So, yeah, bit annoying. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you guys would do in terms of the lineup, score prediction and everything. Let me know in the comments down below. But if you've enjoyed, hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. But for now, ho the lads! Keep the faith.